Hello everyone. In the previous video on reported speech, you learned tense changes, change of pronouns, reference to time and place, and words such as this, that, these. You also learned the transformation from direct to indirect speech in case of assertive sentences. In this video, we will see when reporting statements are interrogatives, how we change those interrogative reporting statements into indirect speech that we are going to learn in this lesson. Before beginning this topic, let's look at some objectives which you are going to accomplish after this lesson is over. Students will restructure indirect speech in various writing parts, such as story writing, report writing, while reporting a past event. Students will apply the lesson for reporting the dialogue of character in any piece of writing. And students are able to differentiate between the direct and indirect speech. Let's get acquainted with some rules which we need to follow while changing interrogative sentences into indirect speech. The first one is if the reporting verb is say or says or will say or said to, it will change to ask or asks or will ask or asked respectively. Means say or says changes to ask or asks, will say changes to will ask, and said to or said it changes to asked. Said to can also be changed to questioned of, demanded of, inquired of, depending on the sense of reporting speech. Connectives if or whether are used for questions which can be answered with yes or no. So questions which can be answered with yes or no, we always use if or whether as connectives. There are two kinds of interrogative sentences which we will discuss while transforming the direct speech into indirect. The first questions which can be answered with yes or no, and another those questions that require a detailed answer. Let us take up those questions first that can be answered with yes or no. David said to me, "Do you like coffee?" David said to me, reporting clause. And in this reporting clause, said to is reporting verb. Do you like coffee? Reporting speech. Now, if somebody asks us, do you like coffee? Generally, we say either yes or no. That is why, while converting this sentence into indirect, we use if or whether. Any of these two expressions can be used. David asked me, said to change to asked. David asked me if or whether I liked coffee. You is the second person we change according to the object of the reporting clause, that is me. First form of the verb, it changes to second form. Like changes to liked. He said to me, did you meet your friend? He asked me if or whether I had met my friend. Again, in this example, said to change to asked because did you meet your friend? Either we say yes or no. That is why in order to join both these parts, we use if or whether. I had met my friend. Did changes to had plus third form of the verb. That is had met. She said, are they waiting for me? She asked if or whether they were waiting for her. She said to me, can I use your laptop? So as I told you earlier that instead of said to, we can use questioned of, demanded of, inquired of, depending on the context of the reporting speech. So here I say, she questioned of me if she should use my laptop. Can changes to could. The women asked the stranger, should I help you? Now remember, should will remain should. We are not going to change it. So the women asked the stranger if she should help me. Now let's discuss those questions which require a detailed answer. How to convert those questions into indirect speech. So let's see the first example. He said to me, "Where are you going?" Now, if somebody asks us, "Where are you going?" So we are not going to say either yes or no. We are going to give a detailed answer. So remember, don't use if or whether in such kind of questions. And one more point to note down here is question word, it will remain as it is. It will be connecting both the parts of the sentence. So he said to me, "Where are you going?" Again, rules are same. Said to changes to asked. He asked me where. Now where will remain as it is. We are not going to change it. Why? Because here we are discussing those questions which have a detailed answer. Rest rules are same. He asked me where I was going. Again, you, second person we change according to the listener. Listener is me. SMR changes to was, were. So here we have are, so we change it to was. Next, my mother said to her, "How do you feel now?" My mother asked her. Said to changes to asked how. How will remain as it is. How she felt then. So now changes to then. First form of the verb feel, we change it to second form of the verb. You changes to she. How she felt then. I said, "How long will you stay with me, Mary?" I asked Mary how long she would stay with me. So will changes to would, and me is a first person, and again the speaker is I. So that's why me remains me. I asked Mary how long she would stay with me. The father said to the child, "Why don't you speak the truth?" The father asked the boy, said to changes to asked, why he didn't speak the truth. Now because it is a negative sentence, so while converting negative sentence into indirect speech, do not changes to did not. So that's why here we use didn't. He didn't speak the truth. The boy said to his friend, "Who broke this window pane?" The boy asked his friend who had broken, because broke is the second form of the verb. We change it to had plus third form. Who had broken? This changes to that window pane. Now let us see, when reporting speech is an imperative sentence given to us, how can we change it into indirect speech? So let us see what are imperative sentences. Sentences which contain the sense of request, command, order, suggestions are called imperative sentences. For example, bring me a glass of water. Can you please make a cup of coffee for me? Open the door. So these are the imperative sentences. Now one thing to note down here is generally imperative sentences begin with the verb which gives a command. Now let's go through some rules. The reporting verb will change as per the sense contained in the reporting speech. So it is important to learn the sense which is used in the reporting speech. Now if it is a sense of request, we change reporting verb to requested. And if there is a sense of order, we change the reporting verb to ordered. And sometimes sense is not clear, so we can change reporting verb to told or asked. And when there is a sense of command, commanded. When there is a sense of suggestion, suggested. Second main point is inverted commas are replaced by to. So to is an expression which we use to join both parts of the sentence given to us. The rest of the reporting speech will come as it is. This is an important point to note down here, that we are not going to make any change in the verb, in the tense verb. Let's make it clear by going through the example given to you. I said to him, "Please go to the market." I said to him, reporting clause, and the reporting verb is said to. Please go to the market, reporting speech. So see, when we change it into indirect speech, set to changes to requested, as I told you earlier, because please go to the market, reporting speech here gives us a sense of request. So that's why we change set to into requested. I requested him to. Now we are using to join both these parts. Go to the market. Our rest of the reporting speech will come as it is. Go to the market. Don't change go to when. Most of the students do this mistake. And the last one, the negative sentence is do not is removed and not to is used. So whenever we have a negative imperative sentences in place of do not, we always write not to. Let's do some practice now. I said to him, do not open the door, please. So first of all, we will sense the uh, context of the reporting speech. So here it is, do not open the door, please. Expression please is used here, which gives us a sense of request. So that's why said to change to requested. I requested him not to, because I told you do not change to not to. Not to open the door. The rest of the sentence as it is. Sheila said to her mother, open the gate. Now here we don't feel any specific sense in the reporting statement. So that's why we use asked here. Sheila asked her mother to open the gate. Kinjal said to Rudra, don't waste your time. So it's a kind of a advice. Kinjal advised Rudra not to waste her time. Remember, second person you are, we are going to change it as per the listener of the reporting clause, that is Rudra. Palak said to Neha, have a glass of milk. So Palak asked Neha to have a glass of milk. The judge said, call the first witness. The judge commanded them to call the first witness. So it's a kind of a command. So here, so far we have seen how we don't make any change in the rest of the sentence and we use to, do not changes to not to, and how we sense the meaning in the reporting speech and how we change our reporting verb accordingly. Let us see if we have a reporting speech beginning with let sentence, how to convert it into indirect. So there are 3 points which we need to consider. The first is, if the meaning of let sentence is a suggestion, proposal or a wish, then for making indirect speech, said to, change to, propose to, suggested to or wished to. And the second point, let, it is placed with should. That means in place of let, we will write should. And that is used to join both parts. Let us make it clear by looking at the example. Kanika said, let me take 2 chocolates. So first of all, we will see the meaning of reporting speech. So it's a kind of a wish. So that is why said, we change said to wished. Kanika wished that, as I told you, we use that to join both parts of the sentence. Kanika wished that she should take 2 chocolates and let is replaced with should. Now let's move on to the second point. If the meaning of let sentence is to allow or order or persuade, then for making indirect speech, said to is replaced with requested to or order to. And another point, let will remain as it is in the indirect speech and to is used to join both parts. For example, the principal said to the watchman, let the visitors come in. Now, if we look at the reporting speech, let the visitors come in, it's a kind of an order. So, that's why said to, we change said to into ordered. The principal ordered the watchman to. It is used to join both parts, as I told you earlier, to let the visitors come in. Let will remain here as it is. We are not going to change it. Now the third point, if let sentence is a condition or a supposition. That means if condition or a supposition comes in let sentence, said to is replaced with told, let is replaced with might, and that is used to join the both parts of the sentences. So here you have to be very much particular about the meaning of the let sentence. You have to be very particular about the let sentence. What does it signify? It can be a suggestion or a proposal or a wish. It can be an order or it can be a permission. So you need to change from direct to indirect as per the condition given to you. So let's look at the example. Naresh said to Yogesh, let him study hard so that he can top the class. Now here we see there is a condition. Condition is let him study hard and so that he can top the exam. So that is why we use told here. Naresh told Yogesh that he might top the class. As I told you, let is replaced with might. If he lets him work hard. Now because it is a condition, so that's why we add if. Now let's move on to exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences are those sentences that express a sudden outburst of some emotions such as joy, sorrow, contempt, regret, surprise, etc. For example, hurrah expresses joy. Bravo expresses applause. Alas expresses sorrow. What expresses surprise. Now some important points. An exclamatory sentence has a sign of exclamation after it, which changes into a full stop in the direct speech. That means when we convert an exclamatory speech into indirect speech, the sign of exclamation, it changes into a full stop in the indirect speech. In the indirect speech, the exclamatory phrase or word is replaced by exclaimed with joy, sorrow, regret, surprise, contempt. Let's take a look at some examples. Gaurav said, hurrah, we have won the match. Gaurav exclaimed with joy that they had won the match. So here we see hurrah is an exclamatory expression. We change it with exclaimed with joy. And the rest we follow the rules which we have learned earlier while transforming from direct speech to indirect speech. The spectator said, bravo, a classical goal. So bravo is an expression which is used for applause. So we change reporting verb said to applauded. The spectator said applauded, then saying that it was a classical goal. The emperor said, alas, our foes are too strong. So it's an expression of sorrow. Alas is an expression of sorrow. So we use exclaimed with sorrow that their foes were too strong. The child said, what a beautiful scene. The child exclaimed with delight that it was a beautiful scene. So we are omitting the sign of exclamation everywhere while transforming from direct to indirect speech. David said to him, how intelligent you are. David exclaimed with wonder that how intelligent he was. Now let us discuss operative sentences. Operative sentences are those sentences which express hope, wish, or prayer. If I say, may God bless you, wish you a very successful married life. So these are the examples of operative sentences. Now let us discuss some rules which we need to understand while transforming the direct speech into indirect. The first one is understand the context of the sentence. It can be a prayer or a wish or a greeting. Let us make it clear by going through the example. I said, if I were a bird. Now, if I were a bird, it is a wish. So, context is wish. So, wish we are going to use in place of the reporting verb. I said to him, may you get well soon. So, may you get well soon, it's a prayer. Now, another 2 points which you need to understand here, exclamatory mark is omitted. So while transforming from the direct to indirect, you need to omit the exclamatory mark as well as words which show exclamation such as may and would. You are not going to write those words while transforming from direct to indirect speech. And sentence form is always assertive. Would that, oh for is converted into wished. Good morning, converted into wished. Again, good night, wait, may or may God is converted into prayed. Let us do some practice. My wife said, would that we were blessed with more sons. So while converting this direct speech into indirect, first we need to consider the context of the reporting speech. Reporting speeches, would that we were blessed with more sons. So here it's a wish. So that's why in place of said, we write wished. My wife wished that we were blessed with more sons. Sign of exclamation is removed here. Old lady said, may God help you in difficult times. May God help you in difficult times is a prayer. So in place of said, we write prayed. Old lady prayed that God might help me in difficult times. He said to me, may you be respected everywhere. So it's a kind of a prayer. He prayed that I might be respected everywhere. May changes to might. My father said to me, may you top in exam. My father wished that I might top in exam. People said, long live our Prime Minister. People prayed that their Prime Minister might live long. So we end up with narration here. Thank you.